Let us begin this one by addressing something that has stuck with me since I shot this car, and it goes as follows. To our mothers and fathers, our brothers and sisters who work in these spaces which we are grinding and sweating so hard to break into, I plead with you guys to not be the same people preventing us from achieving our goals. Instead, you should be the ones channeling us to the right people to help us fulfill these goals of ours. And to the gentleman who personally took me to this car to view and shoot for you guys so I can bring you this review, while the receptionist on the other hand was giving me a hard time, thank you very much, sir. Your generosity deserves praise. With that out of the way, let us get into the business of the day. Shobafetu, welcome to a quick review of the BMW M3 Competition Touring. If you're familiar with the channel, you should know that about 7 months ago, I reviewed the 318i M Sport, which I thoroughly enjoyed both shooting and driving. This M3 Touring example, on the other hand, is one unit I wish I could have full access to so I can do real-world testing on regarding its practicality, performance, and essentially see how the general public would receive the vehicle. But that's not the case, so we'll have to work with what we have. Starting under the bonnet. The M3 Touring receives the most power of any other vehicle using BMW's 3-liter inline-six engine. In this application, it is supplemented by a 48-volt mild hybrid system to produce 390 kilowatts and 650 newton meters. And for my BMW fanatics out there, yes, it's the S58 engine. All this power and torque is sent through an 8-speed automatic to all four wheels, and that is BMW's xDrive all-wheel drive system. BMW says the car can accelerate from complete standstill to 100 kilometers per hour in 3.6 seconds and continue on to 200 kilometers per hour in 12.4 seconds. And that is not all. Optioning the M Drivers package de-restricts the top speed from 250 kilometers to 280 kilometers per hour. This obviously does come at a bit of a price, and to fully test it out, you would need a strip of tarmac long enough to see you do 280 kilometers per hour. For reference, the M3 sedan will do the acceleration times in 3.5 seconds and 11.8 seconds respectively. As far as rivals are concerned, the BMW is placed perfectly, or rather awkwardly, between the discontinued Audi RS4 Avant and the RS6 Performance. And here's how these three fare off in a stats comparison. You remember when the G80 and G82 BMW M3 and M4 came out and we were all hating on their oversized beaver teeth grills? In fact, the BMW M2 also suffered the same criticism, and some of these models are still being criticized by the harsh world of social media even today. Well, it turns out there was genius behind the madness all this time, because the design isn't only striking and bold, but they certainly get people's attention and get people talking. And tell me who doesn't want people talking about their car, especially if it's an M3 or an M4. I, for one, have grown to love these models. The Baby M model specifically is one of my dream cars. Coming to the side profile of the M3 Touring, the most distinctive feature of this vehicle is its elongated rear end, roof rails, and a set of 19-inch rims at the front and 20-inch items at the rear, and these are wrapped in Michelin tires, and those will be Pilot Sport 4Ss for my hardcore petrol heads. The front is still very BMW M3 with the sculpted bonnet, large vertical kidney grills, the M3 comp badging and venting lower down to direct air into the engine and over the wheels for both engine and brake cooling. By the way, the unit has been kitted with carbon ceramic brakes, while the brake calipers have been painted in gold metallic with M logos, of course. You obviously can't miss the laser light headlights with their snake eyes daytime running lights. These are adaptive headlights with blue elements inside of them. The most important element about the rear is of course its practical aspect, the boot, which offers about 500 liters standard, which can be expandable to 1,510 liters when the rear bench is folded flat. The tailgate can be split in two, meaning you can open the rear windshield separately and then you can open the entire thing. It's all electrical. What I'm not necessarily a fan of though is the netting between the rear seats, which separates the rear space and the boot, and I hope this is removable. If this wasn't an M car, that would be all, but because this is a performance model, there are quad exhaust tailpipes, there's a rear diffuser, a roof edge spoiler, and various bits of carbon fiber for the decorative inserts. Inside, nothing screams or shouts M3 Touring in here. In all honesty, there shouldn't be any because this, after all, is an M3 with a bigger boot. So if you're familiar with the saloon version of the M3, you won't find any surprises in here. The curved display remains one of my favorite highlights fitted in modern BMWs. It's crisp, it's clear, and it certainly stands out. And you certainly can't miss the red leather just about everywhere you look, on the lower panels, on the dash, and the full carbon bucket seats. Now these I'm not necessarily a fan of. I do like the illuminated M3 emblem though. It's a really cool touch. The thick steering wheel is wrapped in Alcantara. It really feels good to touch. It boasts carbon fiber trimmings, a pair of customizable M buttons, and pedal shifters which are also finished with carbon fiber. Now, can someone in the comment section tell us what this part on these seats is called? I really want to know. Other things worth noting about the cabin of the M3 Touring include a red starter button on the center console, red leather, ambient lighting, red leather, heated seats and steering wheel, the red leather, there's park distance control, there's also red leather, front collision warning and lane departure warning, red leather, tricolor stitching for the seat belts, some more red leather, and a very accommodative rear space with a center armrest with more red leather and cup holders that wanted to give me a headache. In my 3 Series review back then, I said something along the lines of, the main infotainment display is also a touchscreen, but if you don't want to use that, you can use the swivel wheel embedded on the center console. And while we're there, I quite enjoy the fact that while most of the vehicle's functions can be controlled using the touchscreen, having this many buttons down here which have been purposefully left there to make your life easier is quite commendable in this day and age. And I'm happy to report that I maintain this sentiment even in here, seeing that it has been left unchanged but rather elevated with the use of carbon fiber bits and a red starter button. I really like it. Now BMW made 23 units of the M3 competition Touring, and if this isn't exclusive enough for you, then you can wait for the arrival of the M3 Touring CS, which is going to make 405 kilowatts. That's about 15 kilowatts more than this standard M3 Touring. And this will cost about 805,000 odd rands compared to this one. If you can afford one, let alone finding a pre-owned unit like we did with this one, here's how much you can expect to pay on a monthly basis. And this is before we factor in insurance, running costs, and an end. And if you can afford 50,000 rands a month on a car, obviously these are little numbers that won't break your bank. I'm keen to know in the comment section, would you rather have the BMW M3 Touring or would you rather go the Audi route, either get yourself the Audi RS6 Avant or instead get a used Audi RS4 Avant? Or, like most customers, would you just rather go the performance SUV route? In that case, are you taking the Cayenne GTS, the Audi SQ8, or BMW's own X6 M60i? And that is all for this video. Do not forget to engage with us on all our platforms, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you all on the next one. Thanks for watching.